Alright, back out in the garage. Gonna do a little walk around on this little project. I don't know. I don't know if there's serial numbers or anything on it and be able to figure out what year it is, but this is a Volkswagen car engine that has been converted to an aircraft engine. So there's some extra bits and pieces and stuff kind of in the way to make it look very presentable, but there it is. I kind of like the little shotgun exhaust on it. Vertex mag. I'm not really sure what's going on up here on the front end. There's like a lot of like JB Weld or something. So the way these Volkswagens are put together, you get two halves that bolt together here in the middle with jugs and heads. This is like completely coated all the way around up against the split in the cases, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. This is a engine that a buddy of mine and I got as part of a Himax team Himax. I don't know. It's a high wing kind of cub looking thing, kind of ultralight, kind of whatever. With this engine on the front, there's no way it'll be Part 103 compliant. That's just full VW. It's too much weight in the engine, too much power in the engine. It's going to go too fast and weigh too much. But there's a lot of good things about this engine. And there's a lot of things that are out in the truck. I've got the catalog where I think most of the parts were ordered to convert this. So it does have an oil cooler down here. That's a good thing. The carburetor is an updraft. I think it's a Zenith. I don't know. Looks Zenith. Whatever it is, they got. So this is the air cleaner that came with the engine for the carburetor, and they got this janky piece of plastic bottle that they've cut a slit into so they can compress it down to get this to go over that. That's no bueno. We're not going to do that. So that'll get changed. I'm not really sure I like having a sediment bowl shut off on there. That doesn't seem very airworthy. They did the lines going to the air or the oil cooler do seem to be decent. Stainless braided line with the AN, or I think it's AN fittings. Whatever it is, it looks like it's got good fittings on that, so that's a plus. So we got kind of safety wire on the front studs for the exhaust. No can do on the back. I don't even know if it's drilled for safety wire. I don't see any holes for safety wire back there. Anyway, intake manifold. I know I was looking at this earlier. It looks like they welded it, but then it almost looks like they put, I don't know if they put JB Bondo or something to kind of smooth it off. I don't know. That's not horrible, but so Sun Pro oil pressure gauge. I don't know about that. We may upgrade that to maybe a better brand oil pressure gauge. But the sediment bowl that I said I didn't really like, they've just got a little black pipe, eighth inch pipe nipple connecting the carburetor to that. Not sure I like that. And then it comes up, and the fuel line comes up, and they've got this mess going on. That looks like another, like an inline filter. no clamp of any kind on this side, and then they're just using like regular hardware store clamps on the other sides, and that's how they're connecting the from the carburetor. You see that nasty mess of welds down in there. I wish I had a flashlight with me. I don't have a flashlight with me to light it up. Let's see if this works. Yeah, there's like nasty, not good looking weld on the, we'll call it the T-pipe on the manifold where the carburetor mounts the intake. They've got some more of those like automotive style hose clamps here holding the T-pipe to a bracket on the bottom of the motor. And then, yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if that's, I just don't know. And then I also noticed when I was looking at the eyebrows for the cooling, this one is considerably taller than the one on that side. This angle looks different. It's not symmetrical. I don't know how you couldn't, and they've just used like sheet metal screws, self tappers through one of the fins on the or part of the head to hold that on. There's nothing holding this inner piece. It's just wedged down into the fins on the jugs. I don't know if you can see way up and over, and this is not nearly as far up. And maybe I don't know enough about air-cooled aircraft engines at this point. There might be, because of the way the rotation of the propeller, you might need more area on this side than that side. I really don't know. But there's a lot of, like I say, we got a catalog that this cast aluminum engine mount, that's a aftermarket factory piece for the conversion. Yeah, there's a lot of things. The engine mount, the welds are not the prettiest. I don't know. We were told this came off of a flying airplane. So I don't know, but there it is. And I don't know, with the way we're going to build our Himax, we're going to be experimental light sport. Current induction system doesn't really seem to have any provisions for carb heat. I don't know if that's necessary or not. Kind of feel like maybe it's not a bad idea. So there's going to be some air intake changes made, but I really feel like this engine probably is going to get dismantled. I'm going to have to figure out why we've got all this JB Weld looking stuff up here. And I don't know on the Volkswagen conversions what kind of thrust bearing they have on the front to take up the load of the propeller. I know other auto conversions, Corvair specifically, which is very similar to this, except it's a 600, it's American made. The way those cases are made, this whole the front cover is separate. It's not. Anyway, you replace that front cover with there's a couple different people that make them, but they call it the fifth bearing because there's already 4 main bearings in the crankcase. Fifth bearing up here is basically just a thrust bearing to take up the load. And the way the ones I've seen are designed, they will actually take up thrust as either a tractor setup where the engine's in the front with traditional propeller up front, or as a pusher with the engine in the back, pushing the aircraft. So there's a lot of good, a lot of bad. I shouldn't say bad. There's a lot of good, a lot of questionable. So we will probably have videos much later. This series of videos is going to be way drawn out, I'm sure, as we work. What and oh, huh? What the heck that is? There's a freaking port of some kind on that intake. I'm gonna have to look down with my glasses on, see. It's really like a vacuum. It could be like a vacuum port or something. I don't know. A lot of ugly. That's like brazing. I don't know. That's not. There's one over there too. This one looks like it was a better Bondo job after they got done with it. But the other thing I noticed on the eyebrows for the cooling is they've got these holes cut out for where the spark plugs go in. Obvious air leak, so that's gonna have a negative impact on the amount of air coming in and down through the fins, because you need that air to come in here and go down through these fins to cool the engine. You know, got two big holes right there. It's I know the spark plug boot is gonna kind of cover that, and maybe that's how they're supposed to be. They went from the outside in, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's how I would have done it. If I was going to do that, I might have gone with a straight boot. So I go with a smaller hole just to straighten on them, or put some kind of a grommet. I don't know. We'll dig into it a little farther. Come up with a game plan. Anyway, I'll be back.